Chad, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Hold on, I'm just gonna check a couple more.
Okay. How'd the podcast go? I lost Chad. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of This Is My Bourbon Podcast, where we talk about the spirit of Kentucky. My name is Perry. Thank you so much for being here with me this week. And I thought we were going to have It's Bourbon Night on tonight, but we have half of It's Bourbon Night on.
You got the better half.
Oh, shots
Just
fired.
kidding.
Shots fired. Hopefully Sarah doesn't listen to the show back after.
Said no one. Said no one. No, you got me. Sorry.
Well, Chad, thanks for coming back on, of course.
Yeah, happy to be here.
I think you are now the most recurring guest host on the show.
Boom.
At this point. I think by the time the Star Wars episode came out, you officially were.
Oh, sweet.
But now you're really getting a leg up on the competition, which I guess the competition is just Sarah.
Sarah. Right. Well, Tanner and Curtis better watch out.
Yeah, I mean,
Might.
you take it up with them. I'm not getting in the middle of that. So, as always, as you know, we drink on the show. What would you like to start off with here, Chad?
Oh, man.
We have an array of options.
Dealer's choice. I kind of want to start with something that I know is good.
Because we are going to get into stuff that might not be as good.
Yeah, and, actually, so we've got two that I have had this one over here.
But I'm sure it's been a while.
But it's been a long time, and I haven't had this one. And these other two are picks.
Yeah.
But let's start with this guy.
Okay, sure.
Just who hasn't had the regular version of this?
Exactly. So we're going to start out with Ernie Spirit Buffalo Trace pick that just came out.
January 17th, 2018, it says.
That's not when I got it. I got it beginning of this month.
Well, that's when it came in.
Well, yeah.
They don't put a sticker on when you bought it, Perry. Oh, Perry bought it on this day.
It's amazing. Every store I go into, they have stickers just to say when I bought a bottle of bourbon.
And on this day, the Perry boughteth thy whiskey, and it was good. And he said into them.
Anyway, so this, I don't really know much about this pick, other than it sold out in a weekend.
Its name is Snow Day Bourbon. That's what it says.
Well, it's rainy. Does that count?
Sure.
For
Well, it's been rainy, sleety. It's been nasty here.
That one day where we went through all four seasons was just a nightmare.
Man.
Sometimes you're lucky if you don't live in central Kentucky.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks there, Chad.
Yeah.
Hey, while you're pouring, I'm going to go ahead and ask you the question.
Sure.
What have you been drinking recently?
Oh, well.
Because you are the star of the show in terms of...
Nice little Monday.
Yeah, no kidding.
Monday night, we recorded a flight fight. And it was in our expanding rye flight fight series, which was originally just going to be one flight. And then we were like, oh, let's break it up into proofs. And then, let's do this and that. So this one was what I think we're dubbing as the big spenders. So these are the more either pricey or limited sought-after bourbon, or ryes. So And our entire flight was donated to us, which is just super.
That's the incredible
amazing by Rick Clopan, who's a member of the Lexington Bourbon Society and just a generally awesome person, and his wife Helene. And we went over there Sunday to get it, and ended up having this impromptu bourbon tasting.
Bourbon afternoon.
Yeah, we had some Four Roses 125th anniversary. We had I can't even, this is embarrassing. I can't even remember. It was
you had a wild turkey
diamond.
Okay.
Right? Diamond.
Let's check the tape.
Yeah, check the tape. Run the tape back. And just in a cheese spread with different. We were doing a cheese pairing with bourbon and these awesome almonds that he had and all this and that. And then we went home with 2 bottles. Now, the bottles just had, maybe 4 ounces left in them, and
Still,
then
though.
2 sample bottles with about, 4 or 5 ounces in them. But
Yeah.
see if I can remember. It was Whistle Pig 15-year finished in Vermont oak. It was Thomas H. Handy. The first year it was around from 2007.
I just died a little bit. Will Haynes from the podcast also just died a little bit. I
Oh,
think that's
man.
his.
It was a Willett Family Estate single barrel 9-year rye. And then it was the Booker's rye, which is like 138 proof.
I'm dying.
Whiskey of the year from a couple years ago. And no spoilers. You'll have to watch the episode. I don't know when this episode comes out.
This episode is coming out not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday.
Okay, so this episode will already be out because it's coming out this Friday.
Yeah.
So I've got to finish it tomorrow night. So go watch it. Yeah, it's our Rye Flight Fight, the Big Spenders edition. So this is our 5th. And then our 6th will be a flight of 5 of all winners of previous rye flights.
It's going to be a lot of... I'm going to really enjoy watching that. I'm just going to say that much.
Now, do you have any predictions on what you think won for this latest one?
Based on the performance of Knob Creek Rye, part of me wants to say Booker's.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me also is saying that is a foolish pick. If I had to put money on it, I would say that you wound up with the, I'm going to say you wound up with the Willet.
Okay.
And I think Sarah wound up with the Handy.
Okay. Well,
Take that how you will.
I'm not going to tell you. Hey-o. I'm not going to tell you after we stop recording. Remind me,
Of course.
And I'll tell you. But yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Interesting.
So what you had was the I just lost it. Crap. You had the 120th anniversary.
Yeah.
17-year Four Roses. Oh, that's
Oh yeah, the 17
from
the 17 the 17-year Four Roses pick by Jim Rutledge.
Which just like I probably would have said if that had been offered to me. I don't know if I can think of a life past this.
Sure,
so it's best not for me to
to
go there.
Yeah.
And then the Wild Turkey Diamond.
Wild Turkey Diamond. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been drinking. What you been drinking, Barry?
Oh, nothing that exciting. I'll say that much. I tried Blanton straight from the barrel for the first time last week. You can hear that episode. Which by the time this one comes out will have been last week's episode, but it just dropped today.
Yeah.
I'm just over the moon about it.
It's so
I mean, I didn't score it as high as I thought I was going to.
Mm-hmm.
The finish was a little bit weak on it for me, but that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just said that. Who says that anymore?
Yeah.
But I mean, for one, it doesn't drink like 125 proof.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a specific one that I had.
Yeah.
But it's so different from, and there's an episode by the time this one comes out, there will have been a bonus episode where we review Blanton's Gold as well.
Mm-hmm.
It is leaps and bounds better than Blanton's Gold, but it almost is in a different ballpark for me than Blanton's Gold is. It feels like regular Blanton's, and Blanton straight from the barrel are cousins.
Yeah.
Or, this is like the grown-up version of Blanton's single barrel.
Now, the gold, remind me, because I've had both, but
so
the gold is
103 proof.
103 proof,
yeah, so it's 10 points higher than
ours.
Regular Blanton's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved Blanton's Gold, too. It was very good. But it just felt like I was drinking something that wasn't Blanton's at the time.
Yeah.
But really, though, I mean, that Blanton straight from the barrel,
Well, you have to try it blind with our Les Maisons de Whiskey.
I would love to.
Pick.
I would love to.
Yeah, that's 120 proof.
Yeah, I'll bring mine over and we'll do that sometime.
Sweet.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah,
that sounds like
fun.
lots of fun.
We'll make a day of it.
After you guys did your YouTube live on Sunday, which, by the way, let's talk about that real quick.
Sure.
You guys have started doing YouTube live videos.
Yeah.
Every Sunday at 3 p.m. 3 p.m., right?
Yeah,
Or 2 p.m.?
we've done 2 and 3, and actually this won't matter because this episode's going to come out after. But
But the Easter
this
Sunday
is Easter, so we're probably going to do it on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So
thank you.
Yeah. So
So anyway, you started doing that. It's been really fun for me personally, not just as like, being friends with you and everything, but also as a bourbon drinker because like I get to drink along with you as it goes. And my
gives
favorite
you reason to drink on Sunday afternoon.
Exactly. And my favorite one I think was so far has been the Buffalo Trace episode that
cool.
y'all did from a couple weeks
I like that
ago.
one a lot, and I liked our very first one where we did Bottled and Bond for some reason. I don't know. It's just I like Bottled and Bond.
Well, no, I do.
As a rule.
Too. Yeah. Which I think we'll talk more about Bottled and Bond here in a little bit once we actually get into the topic. That's the word.
Topic?
Whew.
There's a topic?
We haven't even started drinking bourbon yet.
I know.
Speaking of which, let's nose this, shall we?
Sure.
Yeah.
So again, this is the Buffalo Trace, Ernie's Spirits pick. Yeah. Snow day.
It doesn't really smell like a snow day.
It does not smell like snow. It smells good though. Smells distinctively Buffalo Trace while still being different from what's on the shelf.
Yeah.
It
has all of those. It reminds me a lot on the nose of like actually going to the distillery.
Yeah.
And smelling the bourbon seeping through the barrels and everything.
Oh man, there was a rye Monday night when we filmed that smelled legitimately like walking into a warehouse. It was great.
That would I'd be like, this is it. This is the one that is. There's also some brown sugar, I think, that kind of peeks through.
Yeah, there's some brown sugar and
cocoa.
Kind of like a toasted vanilla that's kind of poking out, I think.
Yeah, I get that now. And the caramel still is kind of there, but it's not like pushing forward. I think that this is what's always interesting for me about picks is finding things that takes what works about. I don't know the right way to say that. It doesn't matter. I'm not on an audio medium or anything.
Yeah.
That takes that base product but mingles in other things that complements the original.
Yeah.
And I think as far as the nose goes on this is a really good example of that.
Yeah, it's like if you were on a cooking show, you would say, how are you going to elevate this dish? How are you going to elevate this bourbon?
Add time.
Yeah. So yeah, you want to dive in?
Let's do it.
All right.
Hey, cheers, Bubba.
Cheers. I have to say, it doesn't drink like it smells.
You don't seem as pleased by the
I
palate.
To be honest with you, I was liking the smell. I was liking the nose a little better. Yeah, it kind of. Wow, where did all those flavors I was smelling go? Because I'm not really picking it up on the palate. It kind of goes a little limp.
Yeah, I get some like citrus
on
the palate. I mean that, and honestly, that's almost all that I get.
There's some acidity there, and it's like almost like a little bit of a musty mint.
The mint's kind of poking through.
It's completely different than a regular Buffalo Trace.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I feel like if you took, in a perfect world, if you could take the nose from this and put it on regular Buffalo Trace, I would really enjoy that. I will say though, the second sip, I liked a little bit better, because that time I did get some of the vanilla that was creeping around on the nose. Yeah, but again, there isn't too much. There's too much going for it.
It's not, and this is going to sound worse than I'm meaning it to, but
I'll be the judge of that.
Well, when you taste something, the only thing that you can do is talk about what it reminds you of, even if it's not in the realm of food or drink.
Definitely.
Right?
Yep.
I am reminded of, again, don't mean this to sound as bad as it does, cardboard. And
that's totally not negative.
But just like that, when you smell cardboard,
you
don't really go and lick cardboard usually.
No, not.
you know, my
Unless
dog.
you're 3 years
yes,
old and you try to explore the world.
Yeah, you know, you get that smell. You walk into a room with a lot of boxes, and you're like, oh, if I was to lick that, I could guess what that smells like. And this kind of has, and I think it's mainly on the finish. You know, it's kind of resting, and it's like this, just kind of, and you know, I kind of said like, sort of mothy. It's kind of that resting finish.
I like mothy because that really gets you thinking about it. Okay, stemming from drinking a pick, I have a question for you that's completely off topic from our conversation for the episode.
Uh-huh.
What is your dream pick? Like if there were any pick in the world that you could
Wow.
go for or wish to be released, what would you go for?
Well, see, that's such a hard question to answer because you can get a pick of some bourbon that you have a predisposed or an idea of what it should taste like, and you find this one barrel and it's completely different, you know. Yeah. So you can almost anything, but I would love to pick a couple things. I can't do it to one. I would love to pick an Elijah Craig.
Agreed. And
I would love to pick just a Wild Turkey 101.
Yeah.
You know, and I know Definitely. They have Kentucky Spirit, and that's like an older, barrel-proof version of turkey. But I want, show me the barrels that you think you would blend into a 101. I want to pick one. I want to pick one. I want you to put it in a turkey bottle. Yeah. You know, a turkey 101 bottle.
Definitely.
And I'd also love to do a pick from a non-distilling producer.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
Say like Jefferson's, where they take 3 or 4 different barrels from 3 or 4 different distilleries of different proofs.
Right.
And I can do a single barrel pick of this? How does that work?
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Or a pick of like Jefferson's Ocean.
Yeah.
I would love to do something like that.
That would be really exciting for me.
I want to find the one that was had the most influence, whether you believe it or not, of the ocean air or the motion or whatever.
The motion in the ocean.
Motion in the ocean. So that's
how I like to judge my bourbons.
Yeah, something like that.
For me, and I've been thinking a lot about this recently, and it's not that I would necessarily want a certain pick, but I want to be on the panel that decides what the next batch of Bookers is going to be.
Oh, man. Can you imagine just walking in and being like, okay, center cut of this warehouse.
Yeah,
Let's go up about 3 or 4 floors. Yep. Let's go into the middle. Let's start tasting these barrels.
Yeah, just anyone that you
want. This one's coming off at 131 proof. Okay, let's.
But it doesn't have the flavor that the one at 121 does. Yeah.
Right out of the barrel.
Yeah. But do you see what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
It's like just to be a part of that, even if what you preferred didn't get to the final cut.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just to be a part of that.
My God.
We can sit here and pine all you want for being a part of those incredible journeys.
But I would love to do a Henry McKenna pick out as well. Because they're single barrels already.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just find your cherry.
Yeah.
Single barrel of a 10-year-old.
I was gonna bring my bottle. You talked about this on your live stream this past week of Henry McKenna that I said was just.
We kind of found that
the right one.
Yeah, and we kind of found the series that's the wrong one.
Yeah,
and that's the first time, and like Sarah said, she's probably gone through 10 bottles of McKenna, and I've been drinking on McKenna for probably about 5 years, and I've never come across a bottle that I wasn't ecstatic about
until now.
Until the 06.
But I'm kind of happy that I didn't, because A, Sarah's not here, and B, I've been telling Tanner forever too that I wanted to get him to try it, because Curtis and I have both had it. You and Sarah, of course, have both had it too. And what I almost wanted to do was just surprise you guys with it. Like, what do you think this is?
Yeah.
But anyway, maybe sometime in the future.
Sure.
Anyway, so we're gonna start a little series on different aging periods of bourbon with Chad and Sarah. Of course, it's just Chad tonight.
Sarah in spirit.
Hey, look at that. We can make spirit jokes for days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, So to kick it off, and I'm gonna go as far back as like a day, all the way up to 4 years.
Pretty far back.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean aged? Okay, I got you.
I'm gonna go back to day one. First there was nothing,
Yes.
and then there was bourbon. That'd be a good shirt.
Well, man, we should get that Jacob's Ghost, because that's actually beam aged a year and then filtered to get the color out to where it's white again. Which
Really?
Just
What's the point?
exactly. It's supposed to be white dog, but it's not really. It's aged a year, and then they take the color out.
Like through a Brita filter?
I guess. I don't know, man. They add white out.
I'm imagining the world's biggest Brita filter at the Jim Beam distillery.
Time to change the filter.
And like there's in movies, like they go to a big science laboratory or whatever, and they're like, you can't go behind that door.
Yeah,
that would be the door that you can't go behind because
Yeah.
it would just reveal.
That's where the
all
Oompa
those-
Loompas are. Yeah.
Anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about some bourbons like based on year that we like more than others. We're also going to talk about the benefits and the drawbacks of overaging or underaging your bourbon.
Yeah.
And I think that really kind of the best way to get into it is how close are you to being finished with your...
I mean, I can move on,
Okay.
or I can finish this. It doesn't matter to me.
Let's move on, shall we? I only have a sip left, so...
Okay. I mean, I will finish it, just not
Oh,
at
I'm
this
sure you will.
exact
Chad.
moment.
I know you will.
Thought you were doing a little walk in there for a second.
Chad,
I know you will.
I know you will.
You got to.
So we're not gonna quite get there yet. We are gonna be drinking some.
Oh, do you want to do this next?
Yeah,
I don't
let's
know.
do it.
It was
Let's
just
do it
was
next.
just next in line.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it
We
next.
can-
No.
All right.
No, we'll come back. Let's put off. Let's put stuff off as much as we possibly can.
Alrighty.
And I mean that in the nicest way possible. I'm not like, hey, Chad, you're derailing the whole show. So what we're drinking next? I need a sip of water.
Yep.
Is
I'm gonna start doing smaller pours.
That's probably best. Is this Elijah Craig pick from Unlimited Spirit or Spirits? Is it Spirit or Spirits?
It's it. Oh, different place. I think it's Ernie's Spirits and Unlimited Spirit.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there we go. That's where I was
Yeah.
getting confused.
Well, this has got all types of information on here. So yeah, this is a Elijah Craig small batch, but it's a 10-year.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Warehouse EE Floor 4. That's hard to say. Floor 4.
Floor 4.
Floor 4.
Now, this is one of those situations
94 proof.
where I don't know as much about Elijah Craig warehouses and locations and everything as I do say like Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things where it's like,
Well, you ever been to Heaven Hill?
I've not actually been to their
Okay.
distillery yet.
So-
or I've been to their gift shop.
They all have the same stories, I believe.
Okay.
I think they're all the same height. I don't know about the same capacity. That, of course, they lost like 6 of them in 1994.
Yeah. For more on that, go to It's Bourbon Night on
Thank you.
YouTube.
Yeah. know your distillery. But they're all
Episode 1 of
one
in
right
that
now.
series.
Hey, when the weather gets better, we're gonna start those up again. We'll probably do like some more craft type
Yeah,
distilleries.
for
But
sure.
yeah, and I think they're all that metal. You go there and they're gray, but all that black stuff from
Right.
all the liquor being in there. I don't know what that I forget what that process is called, but so they've kind of turned black, but they're all that metal. They're not like brick like you
Right.
have majority at Buffalo Trace or like at I think Castle and Key has brick or stone ones. These are all kind of that metal. So that's what they're working with.
Gotcha.
I think they're probably if you had to akin them to another distillery, probably like Jim Beam
Gotcha. Cool.
or Willet, which is right down the road.
Oh,
Actually,
yes,
they
yeah.
look exactly
Like
the same.
5
There.
minutes away?
Like
right?
5 minutes, less than 5 minutes away.
Hey, Chad, what do you think about the nose on this one?
Uh-oh. Why? I don't know. I haven't even smelled it yet. What? Come on. What are you doing to me, Perry?
I'm sorry.
You've had this before, right?
Yeah, I have. It wasn't this bad when I opened it.
This smells like cork and cardboard.
With a little bit of like
What are you doing to me?
floor cleaner.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a little bit of
What?
caramel that's coming through.
If I was blindfolded, this would be indistinguishably from bourbon.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd be like, I don't know, shoe polish?
Okay, based on the nose alone, would you say this is worth $33?
No. No.
You could pay $10 less and get regular
Yeah, you can get
small batch,
27
which has a much better nose.
for the regular.
I've seen it popping up for $23.
$23. That's great.
Kroger has it for $23 now.
When we did our uncorking of the C917, people were saying, "Oh, I got mine for $60. I got mine for $55." I'm like, "What?"
Let me come there.
So in that case, pay $15 more and get 100 and whatever the proof is, 12-year-old
131 on the
for that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Well, cheers. Here goes.
yeah,
Nothing.
here we go.
Now this one tastes better than it smelled.
It does. I will say though. No, wait, hold on.
Now I could definitely identify this as bourbon by drinking it. Go ahead.
The first thing that I really get from it is like milk chocolate.
Huh. Okay. I can.
Not like the first thing that I like that hits my tongue, but it's kind of like towards the middle back.
Yeah. I was gonna say there's a I think a definite clove kind of spice to it, and if you kind of really let it decay on the tongue, it goes more so into like that pepper, spice, clove. You know.
Second sip I don't like as much. I will say that much. You know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of the old Forester Statesman.
Oh man. Well, it's not that bad.
No. No, it's not that bad, but it just has a lot of the same kind of like, do I really want to keep drinking this notes?
I gotta tell you, against the Buffalo Trace pick, I would drink on this one.
I think
it has more going on. It has more personality. It's got more chutzpah to it,
You said clove. I think what I'm tasting is more like mint.
Mint, yeah. Yeah. Second sip, definitely, it goes more minty for sure.
But there isn't any like, there's no like woodiness to it, really. Like there's some earthiness, but there's not really woodiness, like oakiness.
If you really if you concentrate on the finish, I think you get some of the barrel, like you said, more earthy though than oaky. Yeah, like a barrel.
And then some of the citrus floor cleaner comes through on the very end of the finish.
Yeah.
I will say I think the finish is my least favorite part of all this.
I think the nose is my least favorite part.
Like if I were to rate this in our system, I think
nose,
the nose,
palate, finish, price.
Thank you. The nose would be a 2.
Never
and
pull fleshy piercings.
Oh, no! Why do we have
Call
to bring
back.
that back?
Call back.
Name that episode. I think the nose would be a 2, and the finish would be a 1 on this. Palate would be an easy, like,
I would put the
3.
nose the 1. I would put the palate probably a 2. And I would probably give the finish an equal 2. I don't mind the finish as much. I think it's just kind of a continuation of the palate, to be honest with you.
I don't know. This one makes me cringe a little bit more than the Buffalo Trace
Really?
did. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it has enough personality that it's not completely objectionable to where I appreciate it, because I felt like the Buffalo Trace was just so one note, nothing happening. Like I described it as limp. This one at least has a little bit more fight to it.
The definition of not anything going on.
Yeah, exactly. Boop. Another callback.
This is going to be the callback episode, apparently.
This is the best of episode.
We don't have Sarah to control us.
You've already hit the best of episodes.
21 episodes
Remember that time when you were like, poop?
By the way, I can't believe that, like, I'm already 21 episodes. This is the 21st episode.
Well, that's basically how old you are. Like, you have as many episodes as you do years on this earth. I mean, jeez.
I'm going to be 25 in August.
Okay, so in like a
month.
month.
How do you think I am?
In a month, you'll have as many episodes as you have years.
Jeez. I don't know.
Sorry, I've already been drinking a lot today.
Nope. Hey, it's okay.
Came from an event where there was lots of bourbon on the table.
Yeah, I had some too before I came here.
I mean,
well. I had a rehearsal in the middle. But...
A lot. I didn't even tell you. I had.
Oh yeah, tell me about what was there.
I had Minor Case, which is
never heard
it. These guys. Limestone Branch.
Yeah.
So it's their rye.
And this is not Limestone Branch.
That is not.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. Well, they don't know yet. I had.
If they're listening, they do. They've seen the description.
Oh, true. Well, there you go. I had some Rabbit Hole. I had their bourbon. I had. Oh, this was cool. I had the 4-year. I had the 4-year.
Had a heart attack.
The 4-year-old expression of the Willet Rye, the ones replacing the 3-year.
Gotcha.
And it was leaps and bounds better than the 3-year.
Good.
Oh man, I couldn't. Okay,
so let's talk about that for a second. Is that going to? Is the price going to hike up at all for that?
Oh, I hope not. It shouldn't. They've just let it age for another year.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Now they can. Well, it's not bottled and bond, but they could if they wanted to. Cut it to 100 proof and call it bottled and bond now.
Sure.
But no, it was so much better.
Good.
And then we had a really good. I wish I can remember the store. It was like one of those stores that's big enough to where, even if we don't have one of those around here, you see the pics from it.
Total Wine.
Not like that. Like like the Lion's Share. You've heard of the Lion's Share.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like that, but it wasn't that. Of a Four Roses. I think it was an OESO,
nice.
And it was really good. It was just super easy to drink.
My dad has a Lion's Share Willet.
I've got
bourbon
Old Scout. A couple of Lion's Share picks. Yeah.
We've talked about Old Scout before, but I'm gonna leave that.
SAOS. Smooth Amber
for the kids on the street.
Yeah, for those initiated. Kids. And we all initiated, aren't we, Bruce? Sorry, that went a little bit more Sean Connery than it should have been Bane.
I was about to say, like, I wasn't sure
But we are initiated, aren't we, Bruce?
I wasn't sure if you were doing Sean Connery in...
as Bane.
Yeah, as Bane or Bane. In Last Crusade. Because that was, like, right in the
Markish? Markish? He got lost in his own museum.
We named the dog Indiana. Anyway, I'm going to kill this real quick so we can move on to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Only the Bennington man will pass.
Okay, so...
The Bennington man. Only the Bennington man will pass. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so that's going to be the intro, by the way. I'm cutting that little bit out for the intro of the episode.
You left just when you got interesting. Sorry, that went Jimmy Stewart. Oh, man. What do you want, Mary? The moon? I'll throw up a lasso. I'll lasso you the moon, Mary. Whoa. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. Without Sarah here,
there's no
to
filter.
keep me in
There's
check
no filter
with the impressions.
It's all out the window.
Oh, it's devil may care.
Okay, so I wanna jump into our topic, which is 4 years and under bourbon.
Barely legal.
Oh no!
Hey Perry, why don't you come in and have a seat? You want some cookies? What were you doing here today? What were you doing at this residence? And what do you have in your bag there?
Do you need a sink fixed?
Those look like some glasses. What were you planning on doing with this bourbon? You know this bourbon's only 36 months old, right? Why don't you just come in here and have a seat? You want some cookies?
What are the cookies doing in this scenario?
He always offers some cookies. I don't know. I'm Chris Hansen with This Is My Bourbon Podcast.
Okay, you're doing To Catch a Predator.
To Catch a Predator.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Was that not clear?
No, it was after a little bit. I thought you were doing a porn parody.
Oh no! That's completely different.
Okay. Well, I need more bourbon.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Oh, I'm uncomfortable now. I'm uncomfortable now. Okay, so the topic is 4 years and under bourbons.
Colon, barely legal bourbons.
Benefits and drawbacks of both.
Actually, that doesn't make sense because bourbon can be in a barrel for a day and be bourbon. But
yeah,
unless you're talking about straight or bottled and bond.
Now, I forgot about this. And it... Ooh.
Wow, you gave yourself a healthy pour of that.
I do not want that much. What do I do? Chad, what do I do?
You can put it
back in. It's my bottle.
No, you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. You got this.
Now, I was tagged last year on International Whiskey Day by my buddy Tom Monarch. And you know what? It might have been that Cleveland thing.
Mm-hmm. And he's not talking about the steamer.
Where they were talking about how they can age their bourbon in a day.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what makes bourbon first.
Okay, well, there's rules, of course.
In terms of age. I mean, of course, we can go through the whole mash bill.
Yeah, there's all that stuff, and people probably know that. But yeah, I think it's one of the two biggest misnomers about bourbon. I think first or equal to first and second is, it's got to be from Kentucky, right? Well, no, from America.
Exactly.
It's
Go watch and
America's
eat.
only native spirit. So from America. But the other is, it's got to be what? It's got to be a year old. No, it's got to be 2 years old, right? Well,
No, it's got to be 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
To be straight, 2 years. To be bottled and bond, 4 years. To be bourbon, can be in there for a minute.
Yeah.
Now, no one would do that. If they did that, it's not going to look any different. You just might as well just call it White Dog or New Make or Moonshine or White Lightning or what have you.
Or stuff.
Yeah.
Fire Kentucky straight stuff.
I think I haven't seen a bourbon aged less than 6 months. Have you?
No, I haven't. Not on the shelf, at least. I mean, I've seen people talk about. Oh, actually, Bourbon 30.
I don't think like bourbon, 3 months.
I think so.
I think you're right, actually.
Yeah, or 30 days even.
Well, they're out of business now, from all I can tell.
Are they really?
Well, their distillery went up for sale.
That's a
$10
shame
million.
because I mean the people that were
it was Danville, right?
Yeah, the people that were running it. I mean, they really were passionate about what they were doing.
Sure.
And that is honestly a shame because to see people who were like.
Yeah, I mean, I wish no one any bad will or anything.
Bad will, yeah.
Of course, but I was in Liquor Barn in Hamburg, and they were there. Just walked in, and they had a booth, and they were pouring out samples. So of course I tried it, and then I instantly asked them, "How old is this?" And they said, "You're the first person to ask." They said, "We age," and I can't remember. They may have said 3 months. They may have said 6 months. I don't know. And in my head, I was thinking, you can tell. But, of course, I didn't say that.
Sure.
And then I looked around the bottle, and, there's the age statement. Because if they do things by the letter of the law, if it's under 4 years, you have to put it on the bottle.
So let's start talking about the drawbacks of aging less than 2 to 4 years.
I'll tell you the biggest one. For under 2 years, you can't put... Okay, let's just say you're in Kentucky. Because that's where we are, and that's where 90 to 95% of the world's bourbon comes from. There's 4 words that give you a lot of clout, right? Kentucky, straight, bourbon, whiskey.
Yep.
Under 2 years, you can't put that straight on there.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a lot of clout that I think you're missing if you're under 2 years.
Sure. I think the other big thing, too, is just straight up quality of product.
Mm-hmm.
People go and drink bourbon because they want that perfect marriage of vanilla and oak and caramel and the earthiness of it
and you even have to
and
factor in like
unquantifiable
tradition.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, almost less than 2 years. And I know that we're gonna be saying some stuff that's fairly controversial.
Sure.
Doing stuff that's less than 2 years might be a little bit of a disservice to not only your product, but the heritage that you're trying to become a part of.
Yeah. And, there's obviously two sides of the coin. These craft distilleries sometimes have to put their product out at a young age so they can start making money, or otherwise they'll go under. There's obviously a couple arguments there. Well, okay, put out a vodka or a gin or some other type of spirit to keep yourself afloat while your product ages, and we see other companies doing that. Or be a non-producing distiller for your first years to get some revenue coming. But people get flack about being an NDA also, or an NDP. NDA is something different. An NDP, like, oh, they're a, you know, like, oh God, what was it? Our uncorking of the Jefferson's presidential 16 year that we did. Someone in the comments said $200 for an NDP? No, thank you. And I'm like, you realize Willet right now is an NDP, okay?
Yep.
And people pay buku bucks for a family estate, and no one kicks up a fuss over that. You know, there's plenty of people out there that are non-distilling producers. They are currently still. I mean, the stuff they have in the bottle on the shelves is not theirs. Yeah. They're working towards that, just like Willet's working towards that, just like Jefferson's working towards that. That's kind of like the thing. People are now making. They have their stills and they're putting out product so they can get away from that. But what's out there on the shelves is still from someone else.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. And I think that, too, is honestly another drawback is that you are providing a product to the consumer that in a few years, they're not going to be able to associate with your brand anymore.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, in 4 years, what is Bullet now could be completely different.
It could. And I think they're going to, obviously they're going to try to get that flavor profile as close to what they can. And that's the beauty of mingling barrels together is you can keep doing it until you can, try to get at that. But I think the necessity of it is these bigger distilleries who are making stuff for these other distilleries who aren't making their own can't keep it up because they need those barrels now for their own products. They're like, look, we can't keep making this whiskey for you because we need it for our own because our customers are beating down our doors for it.
I see it too as kind of, and this is not necessarily an immediate thing, but I feel like in the future it could be the pay it forward of bourbon.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, Willett's going, whomever did this for me, I'm going to do this for a startup in the future too. I mean, that's postulating. I mean,
sure.
But I could see that being a benefit of it in the future.
Yeah. And now you got companies like the Bardstown Bourbon Company who their existence is to contract distill for companies. Right. And they're already having huge success. They've already had to double their output because they sold their 3 million proof gallons like that.
Yeah.
So they doubled it to 6. Now I think they're trying to double it again. It's like, it's crazy.
So let's talk, I think, I want to go kind of year by year.
Okay.
Okay, I know it might be kind of nitpicky, but
sure.
Let's talk first about what we're drinking, or what we're about to drink. This is Old Kentucky Barrel Select, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
There you go.
It's a 4-year-old product. It's 80 proof.
Yeah, now there's my first hang up. It's hard. Like nowadays, you and I get so used to drinking stuff at least north of 90. At least.
90 is, I mean, seriously, unless I'm really easing into it.
Yeah.
90's my starter.
I mean, look at the stuff we had tonight. So the Buffalo Trace was 90, of course. The Elijah Craig's 94.
We're going to be reviewing a 90 proof.
Right. Too. If this was a normal night, we would be on to 100 proof by now.
Sure.
Or, let's be honest, we'd probably be on a barrel proof by now.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd be north of 120.
Never.
Yeah.
And that's about as far as my knowledge of this goes. I don't know when they stopped producing it. I don't know when, or where it actually comes from.
Yeah, and I'm not completely sure either. I want to say it's made in Bardstown.
I'd be surprised if it weren't.
I see on the back here it says bottled by Distillers Products Ltd, San Jose, California. So this is distilled for someone else.
Sure.
Made here in Kentucky, so they can put Old Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, which is what you want to have in the market. But then they ship those barrels out to California, they bottle them there, and then some of those bottles get brought back to Kentucky to be sold. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know too much about it either.
Yeah. I will say, first off, there's not much going on in the nose.
There's not.
I mean, it is almost like... I've said this a lot recently. It's almost like bourbon-flavored water.
Yeah. I kind of get maybe some cereal.
Yeah, that's what I'm smelling. They're like Frosted
Just
Flakes.
like some oats, kind of some cereal, some grains.
Yeah. Well, let's
Okay.
see let's see if the palate lives up to the nose.
Because it's been a wild card so far. Very light.
Extremely.
Very easy.
I was going to say it is easily the smoothest of every...
Yeah.
I hate using the word smooth.
I know. Because it can mean not a favorable
And
thing.
you know who's rolling their eyes at me, too, is Wade Woodard of Bourbon Taters.
Oh.
If you've not checked them out, go check out Bourbon Taters because
Okay.
it will make you...
On what platform?
He's a blog writer.
Okay.
You can follow him on Twitter. I don't know if he's on Facebook anymore. Anyway, doesn't matter. There's not much going on the palate on this.
There's not. I taste the sweetness.
I do too.
I think, that's a product of the youth. You get a lot of the corn showing through.
Definitely.
And honestly, the proofage, down to 80. If this was at barrel proof, there's probably, we're going to taste a lot more going on, but they cut it all the way down to the bare minimum.
I wonder too. I would be interested to find out, and this is, looking at it, it's not very dark.
Well, no.
Again, that's well, yeah, and again, that's a product of it being 80 proof and 4 years old.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder because there's so little going on. What char level they use too?
Oh, I mean, I would say.
I mean, you would expect 4.
You would. This is coming.
But-
Let's say this is coming from Bardstown. Let's say it's just coming from Heaven Hill. They're probably getting their. I don't know if they get their barrels from Kelvin or from. The other name's escaping me. Daggone it! I'll kick myself back when I'm listening to this again.
And there are plenty of people who are like screaming at us.
Yeah, they're
right?
screaming it. United States no. Daggone it! Now I'm just making myself look silly, but Independence
Pull yourself
Day.
together.
Independence Day.
There
Woo!
we go. Hey,
Woo!
for the win.
Got it.
Chad Perkins.
Got it. But they probably order 4s across the board. We do 4s. Mm-hmm. So hey, you want to buy whiskey from us? Well, we put our stuff in alligator char number 4. That's what it is.
You've been reading a lot of Wild Turkey labels.
You only give it 4 years, and then you cut it down to 80 proof. Doesn't matter if it's
True.
the highest char level,
True.
Which some people say it actually goes up to level 6. But Michael Veach says
That's news to me.
4 is the only recognized
Interesting.
level of. That's the highest recognized level of char. People have said, "Oh, we do level 6."
That's another conversation entirely.
Completely.
My goodness.
And I don't know enough about it to speak on it, but 4 is like the recognized highest level of char.
Sure.
55 seconds, right? Of a burn.
Yeah.
It's still going to come out, I think, looking like this no matter. Because you know what? This kind of looks like Basil Hayden to me.
I will agree. But it doesn't taste like it.
No.
Doesn't taste like it. Doesn't taste like a Jim Beam product. I will say, though, this is... I think I've enjoyed this one the most out of the 3 that we've had tonight.
Yeah, it doesn't throw you for a loop.
Mm-mm.
This almost has, dare I say, a nutty quality to it. Dare I say.
You dare.
Yes.
And you do.
Yes, I do. It's got some little hint of something. It's
I know what
teasing.
you're saying. I know what you're
teasing
saying. Yeah.
on the verge of just a few more years and a few higher proof.
Look, even if it were 4 years old and 10 points higher, I'd be happier with it. I mean, not that I'm unhappy with it. It's just,
But
it's just like, all right, here we go.
It's still 2 years younger and 20 proofage points lower than Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond.
Which
for $12.
And this was $10.
Yeah. So it's like, why? Because Heaven Hill makes that. They don't have to sell it to anybody. This is probably made by Heaven Hill, but they have, they mark it up. The company who gets it has to mark it up so they make a profit.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that's why a lot of people are against NDPs, right?
Sure, yeah. And drinking this, I understand why they don't make it anymore.
Are you sure they don't make it?
I've not seen it. I mean, I
haven't seen it since we did our 50 under 25, which was almost 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I found that just kind of wandering into a store, and it was like the last one on the shelf.
Which makes me sad that I opened that one, because I'd like to have a unopened bottle of things aren't made anymore.
If I find another one, I'll donate it to you.
Thanks, man.
I mean, it's $10.
Cool.
Okay, so anyway, and I want to backtrack a little bit before we jump into like different years.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the benefits.
There's a benefit?
Let's talk about, yeah. Would you like to go with me? I have an extra.
Sorry, what? You lost me.
I was telling you there's a benefit.
You're throwing a benefit? Is it a soiree?
Yes, but you don't have to get dressed up for it.
Okay, cool.
Let's talk about some of the benefits of aging 4 years or less.
Okay.
I feel like
you can make more money. Because in Kentucky, you are taxed for every year the whiskey sits in that barrel.
Right.
So you have a 10-year-old whiskey, it's taxed 10 times. So you get it out while it's 4 years old, well, you just saved yourself a lot of money. Now, you usually have to charge less for that.
Sure.
Unless you're a craft distillery and you charge $50 for a 6-month-old. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. I just realized I went very Michael. I didn't know. I didn't either. But it happened.
You just let the impressions take you.
I
where
do.
They
I just let them
go.
talk sometimes.
Yeah. So taxes.
Yeah. Taxes, evaporation, the angel share.
Provides more money for future endeavors.
Sure.
But I think that plays into a drawback as well, though. If it's no good at 6 months, and that's all you're pumping out.
Again, you just call it craft and say small batch.
Fair enough.
I mean, sometimes I almost think that way. It's like it doesn't matter if it's good to some people. If it's limited and it costs over $50 and it says small batch or handcrafted or whatever, people are like, ooh.
Isn't it interesting, though, like the difference in conversations between craft bourbon and craft beer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so much in that arena. I think you're definitely more in the craft beer arena than I am. But I hear you. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, there are still people who are like, oh, craft beer, I have to like drink all craft.
What did they
beer
used to call it
good.
before craft beer? It was I just thought of this the other day. They used to call it something else before craft.
No idea.
Oh, what was it?
Right into the show.
Oh, daggone it. Oh.
Send us an email. This is mybourbonshop@gmail.com.
This is where live is helpful, because people write
exactly.
Hey, stupid, it's this. Yeah, anyway.
What were we talking about?
Benefits.
Benefits. Have we exhausted all the benefits?
Well, okay, so let's just recap. You can get it to market sooner.
Yeah.
You lose less of your product to evaporation, to the angel share, so you actually have more product to sell.
Definitely.
You get taxed less. But the downside is you would think you would have to charge less for it. Which, again...
You would think.
You would think, but call it craft.
And that's a good point, too, because you don't see a whole lot of craft bourbons, and I used quotes for that, that are charging less than, like, $35, $40 a bottle.
Yes.
I mean, and most of them are closer to, like, $50 or $60. For example, Bluegrass Distilling Company out of Lexington.
Yes.
I think everything that they have across the board is at least $55.
Yeah.
And they just put out a wheated that is like $65.
And what's their age statement? Because last time I checked, it was around 6 to 8 months.
I think it's still like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. Now I've been there before.
I have too.
And well, okay. And
I'm the sound of my zipper on it.
And I'm not trying to, talk trash or anything. They're real nice fellas.
Everybody there is extremely nice.
Yeah. But, so what they're doing is they're putting in smaller barrels, which seems to be part of we're putting out younger whiskey stuff.
Right.
There's actually even an equation out there. A 53-gallon barrel, if you put in a 5.6 gallon barrel, it ages like this in a 53. So you only have to age it for 6 months, and it tastes like it's a 6 year, or whatever the math is.
That makes
There's
sense.
An equation out there that I don't really buy into.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
just telling you.
And I don't either, because it makes sense on paper, but in practice, the evidence shows.
I mean, I've asked
it doesn't necessarily
master
work.
distillers of the big guys who heavily experiment.
Yeah. We're talking to the big boys now. Okay.
Who heavily put money into experiments say it's just too unpredictable. There's a very, very short sweet spot that you can miss, and it goes from too green to too oaky, like that, and it's just too unpredictable. We tried it, it's too unpredictable. And there's other people out there who say, no, 6 months. We try it around, between the 5 and 6 months. We pull it when it's ready. Bing, bang, boom. There it is. It tastes like it's years and years old.
Yeah.
In those 5.6 gallon barrels. But bluegrass distillers, smaller barrels, and then they would heat and cool them to try to simulate the seasons, right. Which I also think isn't quite working. No, because you can aggressively go one way or the other. Yeah. And I think there's a lot to be said about the Angel Share. I think that does something for a bourbon that you just can't simulate. And you hear so often people saying, and I agree with the people who know what they're talking about, bourbon's still a science. I agree with that, but at some point, you kind of have to just let nature take over, and let things happen as they will. Yeah. Which is kind of what you said already, but whatever. It's all good. Okay, so let's talk about ages 1 year to 4 bourbons. Okay. Are there any notable or standout one way or other? Sure. 1 year or less bourbons to you? Because there haven't been a whole lot for me that I've been like, this is pretty good. A couple weeks ago we had Hillbilly bourbon whiskey, which is out of South Carolina. Oh, okay. We did an episode with it on it with my family, and our basic. What's the word? Consensus? Consensus. Thank you. I almost said our agreement. Our consensus was that it just needed to be aged longer. Sure, and that's usually and it had good notes here and there, but it was like put it in the barrel for another couple of years. Yeah, let that mellow. Yeah, exactly. I've had Hartfield and Company out of Bourbon County, Kentucky. 6 months in a small barrel that I do think tastes a lot older than 6 months. Their bourbon tastes like scotch. Yeah, and that's the other thing, and I'm not, a scotch drinker. They do kind of a more unusual mash bill with equal parts high barley as to the high rye. But I can recognize that it doesn't taste like a normal 6-month-old bourbon that I've had before, Yeah, and they'll tell you, too, that their bourbon tastes like scotch and their American whiskey tastes like bourbon. Sure, yeah. Which is really funny to have that conversation with them. But. And then down at the New Orleans Bourbon Festival, we tried this bourbon called... Isn't that a weird name for a bourbon? No. It was called... trumpet noise. The bourbon formerly known as Prince. No, what was it called? It was called Conviction? Oh, yeah, we talked about it. It's aged in a what jail. Used to be a jail. Yeah. It's from in North Carolina. Southern Grace Distillery.
Mount Pleasant, North Carolina, I think is where it's from.
Yeah, North Carolina. Their stuff.
Don't ask me why I know that.
I can't remember the exact age, but I want to say it was under a year. But man, did it taste a lot better than I thought if it was in fact under a year. I know it was definitely under 2 years. It wasn't straight. It wasn't straight whiskey. It tasted a lot better than most any other straight I'd had before.
Yeah. There aren't a whole lot for me that stand out.
Yeah.
Most of the time, what I'm going is like, okay.
And then
I get it.
Jeff the Creed.
They're putting out a 2-year
They're
next year.
putting out a straight bourbon, but I've had their 6-month-old, and they use that Bloody Butcher strain of corn, which is just kind of unique. I think not Hudson. Daggone it. Widow Jane.
This has been the
I know. I
episode
can't
of us
think
going,
of it. I can't
what
think
are we trying
of
to
it.
think of?
I think Widow Jane up in New York also does the Bloody Butcher strain, but
Right.
their stuff tastes impressive for 6 months old as well. So I really can't wait till it gets to straight age.
Yeah.
And even I wish they would keep going and do like a bottle and bond or whatever. That'd be great. But yeah, but other than that small handful, which you can count on one hand, I can't really.
Yeah. Well, and I can't really think of too many 2-year-old bourbons either, where I'm like,
No. Because basically,
if any, are there any that?
this just 2?
Yeah.
Well, I had a rye that was 2.5 years.
Chad, this isn't my rye podcast.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Now, rye, supposedly ages
Clear,
faster.
yeah.
But the Roaming Man rye out of Tennessee was like 2.5 years. And it still tasted a little young, to be honest with you.
Sure.
But it was at barrel proof, and it was really interesting. I enjoyed it, although I thought it could benefit from a little bit more age.
Right.
But yeah, I think you're right. Most of the stuff, like I think, Beam kind of sets the standard. Mila Kunis is saying, we age our stuff twice as long as the law requires. and I think that's where a lot of people think, oh, bourbon has to be 2 years old.
Thanks, Mila. Okay, so, yeah, there's not a whole lot
No, it's not
2-year was. 3-year, the first thing that jumps to mind is Ancient Age.
36 months. There's a lot of 36-month
Yeah.
ones out there.
Liquid.
Well,
else?
remember there's that Evan Williams that's green
Oh, yeah, that's right.
that we don't
Which
see here in Kentucky.
I hadn't seen before
but
until
I've
I was
seen
in
Tennessee.
Yeah. That's apparently...
So it's a 36-month-old. And there's a lot of labels like this old Kentucky that's not, but look like this bottle. That if you look here on the neck, it's usually on the neck, it says, aged at least 36 months.
Yeah, like the Yellowstone is that we're going to be reviewing here in a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, Ancient Age. Man.
I know that's
behind that wall. There's ones that I know I've seen before that say
if only you could see
36
him pointing.
months. Benchmark is another one that's 36 months, which is my least favorite Buffalo Trace product.
Where markers make.
Markers make.
That's the Simpsons version of Maker's Mark. Where Maker's Mark gives you a headache, Benchmark gives me a headache.
Oh man! Well, it gives me
cannot
a headache
drink.
and the shakes. I don't know. It just I'm in a corner just going, why? We would play ping pong, and whoever lost the match would have to take a shot of Benchmark.
Well, good. it's got to get. We got to get rid of it somehow.
But it's been replaced with another bourbon brand that I won't tell you.
Right now or at all?
Yeah. Well, no, I'll tell you.
Okay, off air.
Off air.
Okay, good.
Because I don't want to.
I need to take notes of all the things you have to tell me off
sully
air.
their name. But it's bad, man.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
There are
Yeah.
there are others, but
Now 4-year though.
4 years. So Jim Beam White
Jim
Label,
Beam,
I
of
think,
course.
is probably the most famous.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4-year is great, I think, for cheaper bourbon brands. Well, less expensive labels of bourbon brands because you don't have to put it on the label anymore.
Yeah.
So you don't have to put 4 years
Right.
if you don't want to.
Is Heaven Hill 80 proof 4 years?
It Might be. I know
think
the
it
green
is.
label 90 proof is 6, and
So
then the
is
bottled
the
and
bottled
bond
and
is
bond, yeah.
6. It might be Evan Williams Black Label. Might be 4 years.
I'd be surprised if it weren't.
Yeah, it might actually be 36 months. I can't tell. There's a ball in there, but I don't want to, disrupt the podcast just to go check it.
We can take time. We can do a little cut.
That's whatever. What do you want to do?
Sure, why not?
All right, hold on. All right, brought some here.
Whoa. Okay, so we took a little break. You won't notice because I cut it.
Yeah.
But Chad just brought out a bevy of bottles.
Okay, so Heaven Hill.
Okay.
This is the 80 proof, so this is the black label. Survey says
This is fun, by the way.
no age statement.
No age statement.
So this is probably 4 years. Yeah.
Okay, great. Moving on.
Cabin Still. You ever had Cabin Still?
I've not had Cabin Still yet.
Cabin Still straight bourbon whiskey, Kentucky straight bourbon
Someone's
whiskey.
gonna tell me.
Bardstown 80 proof.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess 36 months.
You are correct.
Ooh, hey.
Fully aged for 36 months in Kentucky.
Fully. Big air quotes.
Fully aged. The old Bardstown.
I've not seen that label before.
86 proof.
I have no guess.
It's straight
Okay. So it's a
and no age statement.
This is taking a very weird turn.
So probably 4 years. Medley Brothers. 102 proof. Heart of the Run.
This is where a video would really come in handy.
Yeah. So, of course, Charles Medley, Fairfield, California, but distilled in Kentucky.
Sure.
No age statement.
No age statement.
Yeah.
And then last but not least,
Ezra Brooks. Ezra Brooks is a 80 proof bourbon. It has a 7 on it, but don't let that fool you.
I think this one's 4 years.
Because this is 7 generations. And no age statement.
Do you think people have accidentally bought that bottle of Ezra Brooks thinking that it was Jack Daniels?
Probably. It looks just like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I actually used to buy Evan Williams Black Label because I thought it looked like Jack Daniels, but I knew I didn't want to buy Jack Daniels. Yeah, that's how I got started on that one. So,
Okay, so out of these 4 years, there aren't a whole lot to. Oh, and we could talk about bottled and bonds too.
oh sure, yeah.
We haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
bottled and bond doesn't have to be 4 years. So, like Henry McKenna is a 10-year-old bottled and bond.
Well, yeah,
but
I mean,
it has to be
at least 4 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
so
saying.
question or it stands to reason if it is bottled and bond and it doesn't have an age statement, it's probably just 4 years.
Sure.
And there's
Yeah.
lots of those.
And I think that's like, as far as I'm concerned, bottled and bond to me is like the gold standard for what, bourbon.
It's the most
aspires.
heavily regulated vertical of bourbon, yeah, of whiskey,
Sure. Yeah.
of any whiskey.
Yeah. And I mean, people like Marianne Barnes over at Castle and Key. Like, she's putting out a bottled and bond.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that next year or this year? That's next year, right?
Probably at least next year. Yeah.
We'll ask her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spoiler, no spoiler. But to me, like, if you can go for that 4-year bottled and bond, why not?
Exactly.
I mean, I feel like that's. Steve Zahn said it in neat. It's like a guarantee that you're getting
Yeah, and
a good product.
well, if you don't want to cut your product down to 80 proof, if you can stand to not dilute it down 20 more
Yeah.
points and keep it at 100 and at 4 years, but there's more than that goes into it. It has to be one distilling season. It has,
Yeah.
you has to be in a federally bonded warehouse. I mean, there's a lot more red tape than any other type of whiskey.
Yeah. But again, it is the idea of the guarantee of quality, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you look at E.H. Taylor; they still do the faux tax stamp like it's Well, they are bottled in bond, but they still do the faux tax stamp, you know?
Like it's back in the day.
Like it's back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so I think that about wraps it up for this week's conversation on
Age?
1 day to 4-year-old bourbon. In a few weeks, we are going to be talking. What did I say? I said like 5 to 7 or 5 to 8. So be on the lookout for that for when I guess Sarah will be back on at that point. But in the meantime, we're going to be doing a first shot review, which is. Hold on, let me grab it. Yellowstone Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This is a 90 proof version that they don't make anymore. This is aged 36 months. So in line with our
with the topic.
Our topic of the day. I just kind of stumbled upon this today in a liquor store
And I'm going to have to get a bottle because I don't have that in my collection.
I have never seen it before. I didn't know that it even existed in any capacity. Based on what I can tell from the bottom of the bottle, rather, I think this bottle is from 2011.
Wow.
I'll give you a look-see.
It's crazy that it's still on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's possible. It has an 11 here on the bottom.
I mean, it could be that was just when the bottle design was approved, and then a couple. I just don't know. I don't know. Either way, what we're about to drink is a 36-month-old product. Is this my clean glass?
Yeah.
Is it?
If not,
nope, it's not.
Well, here's a clean one.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. So
I
should do the honors.
thank you. And uncracking.
Uncracking. Release the uncracking.
Weak sauce.
I love how on the... Oh, does it smell good? Okay.
I don't want to say too much.
I love how on the label it says fully aged.
Fully aged.
Yeah. Fully.
And what was the other one that
aged.
we read that said fully aged too?
Oh, one of these.
I don't remember. Oh, it was the Cabin Still. I just read it.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. It doesn't matter. Anyway, this is fully aged for 36 months.
Oh, yeah, and fully aged for 36 months in Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Now, this is St. Louis.
This is, yeah, okay, so here's the thing about this. This bottle is from before the Limestone distillery opened in...
Limestone Branch, yeah.
Yeah, Limestone Branch opened in Kentucky. So this was bottled by Yellowstone Distillery Company in St. Louis, Missouri. So who knows where this was actually distilled in, in Kentucky?
I mean, probably MGP would be my guess. If not, somewhere in Bardstown.
So I'm jumping ahead and nosing it a little bit, and I will be really honest with you. I kind of like it.
I get what I get on a lot of 80 proof young bourbons, and that's
This is 90 proof.
Oh, you're right. It is 90 proof.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that banana bread
Yep.
type of smell.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely. Which to me is pleasant. I mean, you know, it's not the
Yeah,
best thing in the world.
sometimes it's a little bit of a red flag, but it doesn't always have to be.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. I
I retract my MGP statement because it says Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey right on here. So it's
somewhere
obviously
in Kentucky.
made somewhere in Kentucky.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying is that who knows who actually distilled it, but
Yeah.
you know, it was bottled in St. Louis.
Yeah.
All those many years ago. Yeah, I do get the banana bread on the nose. There's some...
You get that sweetness.
Yeah. There is a very light hint of oak. Hanging on the back.
Yeah.
That just kind of wants you... It's like the person who shows up to a party just to say that they've been there and just to be seen.
Like, where's the host? They have to see me here. Hi, what a great party.
Everybody else has to see
Okay, now
me.
we can leave.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about the oak on this nose. Which is, like... It's
Like,
not bad. It adds a little bit of something.
It'll be 36 months right now. Okay, dump it. Dump it.
Do the minute.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've about covered the nose. You want to
Yeah.
taste it? All right, here we go. very standard.
Yeah, this is what I would call stock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finish isn't that great, but the initial palate is kind of like, hey, I started practicing a week ago. Watch me.
You want me to hear? You want to hear me play Free Fallin'?
Yeah. Watch me do this cartwheel or whatever.
You know,
whatever
Stuart
it is.
on Mad TV.
Yeah.
Watch what I can do.
Yeah. Yeah. Look what I can do. Huh?
The finish almost tastes like cough medicine.
Well, it goes to that unpleasant
Yeah.
place that's brought on by youth, you know.
Nose is.
But
nose is
I like the 90
fine,
proof
but,
of
like-
it. It's not completely cut down.
Yeah,
They haven't
exactly.
completely taken the balls out of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's got that glimmer of hope in there.
Yeah.
But
I will say I'm excited to have this around.
sure.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something.
You know what this tastes like? When you get a bourbon on the rocks and you let it melt too much.
Yep. Yep.
You're like,
That's how I feel about Basil Hayden.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Basil Hayden.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you just added water first and then like a splash of bourbon.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this doesn't. I don't know. For me, like it doesn't quite taste that unpleasant. Because when ice melts in bourbon, for me, I can't really drink it.
Yeah.
It becomes very undrinkable.
This is serviceable, you know?
And yeah, and that's
It's
why I'm
got-
kind of excited to have it.
A tiny bit of a kick in the beginning. A little bit of a burn even.
You know, I'm getting some of the clove on the nose
Yeah.
now too. That it's been open for.
Got a
little bit.
little bit of heat, which I like. It's a good heat.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Yeah.
unencumbering.
Get a little bit of that, peppery clove.
I certainly don't mind it.
No, it's a really easy drinker. I would give this to someone who was just wanting to get into bourbon.
I was just about to ask you, would you throw this under your category of first-time drinker bourbons?
Well, the age doesn't help it. And normally, I mean, can you think of a well-aged bourbon that's just 80 proof? I mean, who knows what Basil...
How old is Basil Hayden? I was about to say.
Basil. It used to have an 8-year-old age statement on it. And then they took that off. So I don't know. It's probably hanging around this. I won't probably say the 6 year.
You know, I think the lowest that older bourbons would go as far as proof is like 86.
Right.
Because, see, I don't know how old the Jeffersons. Not the reserve. Is it the small batch?
Mm-hmm.
What was the episode that we did with the two different Jeffersons?
We had one of each.
Yeah, but what was yours?
Oh, it
Was yours a
was
small
it was a
batch?
pick and it was a small batch.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Is like that's like an 86 proof, and I mean, you know, we don't know how
I
old
think
it
it was
actually is.
90, like 90.4. I want to say.
I don't know.
I think.
Go back and listen to that episode.
Pretty sure. I don't think
yell
there's
at us
a.
and correct us.
I don't think there's a Jefferson's that's in the 80s. Honestly, I think Trey says bourbon is a 90 proof spirit.
Yeah.
That's where he likes it.
Anyway, so
Yeah. But yeah, you know, there's for sure 6-year-old 86 proof, you know, stuff out there. But you know, generally, if you're like in a 10-year-old range, they're not cutting it down under 90 proof. They're just
no,
not
I'd be
going to
really
do that to
surprised
it.
if they did.
Yeah.
And I mean, the only 10-year-old 90 proof that I can think of is Eagle Rare.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is 90 proof, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And that's, I think that is about the ceiling for where the age and the proof kind of split off.
Yeah. I guess you're right.
Email in if
Now,
we're, if
well,
we
there's
can think of something else.
others that aren't age stated. Like, you know, they say turkey is around a 7-year-old
Sure.
bourbon on average. So you have your 101 and then you have your 81. So that would be like a 7-year-old at 81 proof.
Right.
But I don't like 81. You know, I really don't.
We're not talking about preference here, Jay.
Yeah.
No, we are a little
So-
bit. We're mostly talking about preference
Yeah.
in this conversation.
I don't know.
So anyway, I think we should probably go ahead and move on to our review.
Okay, hold on.
Our actual review system here. If you are a first-time listener, hi.
Hi.
I can't believe you've made it through this this episode here. We have a review system of nose, palate, finish, and price. Each category is out of 5. And at the end, we tally everything up to a total out of 20. And then you decide whether or not you want to go out and buy what we've reviewed.
Now, what was the price on this?
After tax, this was $18 flat.
Okay.
So, be that as it may,
Math.
never pull fleshy piercings. I hate you for that being the way that I remember this now. But that's all I can do.
Awesome. Okay.
You know, really, I'm not that upset with the nose.
No.
You know, I mean, I agree with you saying that it's stock, but, you know, I would like for it to be more bourbon-esque.
Sure.
And the palate, I mean, like I said, it tastes just like the nose does.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I still get that cough medicine on the finish. I mean, it has opened up a little bit more, but it's still kind of prevalent. And a lot of those baked goods that are supposed to be in banana bread prevail throughout, but it's just not. I feel like this is like a 2.5 across the board.
I mean, you're not too far off on my rating. I kind of am interested now. Like, I want to do a banana bread pairing with some of these bourbons.
I bet this would go really well with
with
banana bread.
I don't know. Like, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm ready to do mine. If you want me to start on mine?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
I'm still kind of finishing up my.
So nose, I thought the nose wasn't bad. I gave it but I gave it a 2.5. The palate, I kind of think is the best part. It not immediately, but it really quickly goes away. So it's like a really quick 3. That's what I gave it. A 3, but it goes pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
The finish, I like the least, so I gave it a 2.
Ooh.
And the price for, you said 18 after tax.
After tax, yeah.
It's not bad. You know, it's so enjoyable, or not enjoyable. It's so easy that it's so pleasant and easy to drink. I could, if I had to, drink on it all night and it would be effective. Especially at 90 proof, it'd be effective.
I could get tired of it, though.
Well, yeah, I would definitely get tired of it. But if it was out in the middle of nowhere and that was the only bottle I had, I'd be like, all right, fine.
What kind of nights are you having?
Well, you know.
Yellowstone.
So I gave it a 2.5. So altogether, that's a 10. 10 out of 20. It's a 50%. That's not a passing grade, but
in America. Just kidding.
So it's, you know, it's a half. It's a half score. It's
so take it or
10
leave
out of
it.
20. It's a take it or leave it.
Yeah. Nose for me was a 2 because like I enjoyed the banana bread that was there, but like I still want like the real bourbon nose to show through.
Yeah.
And like because there were none of those like that, if it were just flat and none of that was there, I would have just put it at a 0.
Yeah.
But because there was something actually kind of interesting about it, that's what bumped me up to a 2. Palate was a 2.5 because, like I said, the banana bread. I really need to get off of that, but this is the only way I know how to describe it at this point.
Completely.
Like, you know, it was there, and then you know the oak was still kind of hanging around and trying to make itself known, but that was about it.
I really think the 90 proof saved a lot of it. It gave it a little bit of that kick that it desperately needed.
If it were 80 proof, it would taste like water. I think.
Just water.
Finish, I gave a 1.5.
Whoa!
Yeah.
You went harsh.
I did because I don't like the taste of cough medicine.
Yeah.
You know, and if that's gonna hang around on the back of my tongue for a long time, I'm not gonna want to necessarily go back to it. With that being said, though, like this has become more enjoyable the more that out of it. So be that as it may.
Yeah.
And then I actually, this is going to surprise you probably, I gave the price a 3.
Okay.
Taking into account that this is something you can't find anymore. It's not overall unenjoyable. Sure, there are better things out there. But $18 is still going to get you something that you can kind of take out and show people and go like, hey, I know you've had regular Yellowstone, but surprise.
Yeah.
What's that face for that you're making there?
2 things. Oh, well, tell us your overall score.
9 out of 20.
9. Okay, so we're 1
Right?
point off. I don't know. Math. I don't know.
You can't do that.
I can't do
why
math.
I'm asking you.
No.
Yeah, that's a 9 out of
9 out of
20.
20. Okay, so yeah, we're 1 point off.
Yeah.
In this fully aged stamp that they have on there, I was looking at the print inside of it, and it says, under the supervision of the U.S. government. And that only comes around if you're bottled in bonds. So I don't know what that's about. And then I was just noticing how...
Just crap they threw on the label. Dude.
Yeah, how non-legible this illegible Old Faithful is on the label. You can hardly read the words Old Faithful. It's like the worst JPEG image that they ever put on there.
This is like an image that they took from a hand drawing from like 1938 out of a textbook.
They used what was around back then? Fetch from 1998, and they searched Old Faithful images, and they got like a 100 by 100 pixel image. Like
and
put
blew it up.
Put it on the label.
This is all we got.
Yeah, that's all we got.
We got a deadline of 5 o'clock, and it's crap. It's 4:53.
Like if you really squint, you can tell it says Old Faithful, but man, that is pretty hard to read.
And like the geyser portion of it does not look. It doesn't.
It's just
doesn't
like
look like.
it's not really Old Faithful. It's just like here we go. I don't know.
Anyway, so not glowing reviews.
No.
But you know what? I'm still gonna recommend people
It ain't bad.
buy it if they find it. It's a conversation.
I'm gonna go
piece.
buy a bottle.
I know you are.
Yeah. Because I don't have it.
Might buy another if they have enough of it. Anyway. Well, this has been an episode.
It has been an episode.
Has
You are
literally
correct.
been an episode.
Literally, this has been an episode.
Literally, I am literally done with that glass of bourbon. So you know what it means after we get done with our review, Chad.
Tips and bits.
Tips and bits.
Tips and bits.
So, Chad, what tips and bits do you have for us this week?
Man, I was thinking about this earlier for the first time ever. I'm going to have to recommend the show The Alienist on TNT.
Okay,
They
cool.
know
Yeah.
drama.
That's, we've talked about this before.
Oh, Sarah already recommended
That's okay,
it.
go ahead.
No, I can't do that.
Okay.
Daggone it.
Sarah watching things.
She watches everything.
That's Luke Evans,
I'm
right?
going to recommend The Toys That Made Us.
Oh, yeah,
Have we already said that? I think we have, haven't we?
we talked about it on the Star Wars
Daggone
episode. I don't know if we actually recommended it.
Well, I don't
though.
think we did, but it was
no.
mentioned. Anyway, I watched that now, and I recommend
Yeah,
it.
what'd you think about the Star Wars episode?
Yeah, it was great.
It was really, really
It was
good.
really, really good.
It made me want to go buy Star Wars toys.
Yeah.
I'm 24 years old.
Okay.
with
what
no
was...
disposable
Oh,
income.
I know what I'll recommend.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna recommend you watch Honest Trailers, right, on YouTube.
I do, yes.
Yeah.
So
So
I know what you're gonna say.
The Last
I know what
Jedi.
you're gonna say. Jeez.
the Honest Trailer of The Last Jedi. So true.
I have not watched it yet because I know what's going to happen when I
It's
watch
true.
it. I'm trying. Look, you know how when you're young, you try to preserve your worldview to not be horrible? That's what I'm trying to do with this. I know what's going to happen.
It's a different era now. It's Disney owned,
is.
and it's not like it was.
It is.
It's different era.
So I will definitely actually go and watch that video.
I love that and bad lip reading.
Oh, I love Bad Lip Reading.
Yeah.
I love their
God.
NFL.
I have never
episodes.
chuckled as hard as I have to bad lip
A
reading.
real hard chuckle there from
hard chuckle.
Chad Perkins.
One of the NFL ones that I love, it's just this one little clip, and he's I think he's a quarterback and he's pointing, but they make him say, villain. And it just gets me every time. So that's what I recommend.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go through every single one of those NFL bad lip ratings, and whichever one that's in, I'll link it in the description of
Villain.
and we'll all be in on that joke together.
Man.
On the note of Star Wars,
Sure.
I am actually going to recommend the Resistance broadcast. I don't know if because our buddy Bill Sheehy, who was on for the Star Wars episode, I've been listening to a lot of their show. It's a lot of fun to listen to a bunch of guys who just love Star Wars.
Yeah, I finally got through that episode. I mean, it was really long, so it took me a while in the car driving to work to get through it all.
It was a 2-hour episode.
Yeah, I got through it all.
But Bill's a great guy. He's got such a if you're a Star Wars nerd like we are, it's fun listening to other people talk about things you love. I mean, which is what you're doing anyway, listening to a bourbon podcast.
There you go.
I'm going to recommend Everything Sucks on Netflix, which is a 90s nostalgia trip.
Ooh, nice.
It's really, really good. The main character is kind of a dick.
Nice.
But he's a freshman in high school, so, we were all trying to, we were trying to plant ourselves throughout all that. It's really good. We finished it in like a day.
Sweet.
I mean, it's just 10 half-hour episodes.
Yeah.
So it's, it's not like you have to go through too much of it. And then I'm going to recommend Grater's Ice Cream because I had it for the first time in a while recently, and I forgot how much I love Grater's.
Well, then I would recommend Coastal Creamery
Oh,
because
no!
the founder's favorite,
that's okay.
but you take out the nuts and you put in Oreos, and that's
Oh.
Chad's favorite.
Oh, that doesn't sound so bad.
Oh, man, it's good.
You know what an ice cream store needs to get on is taking Girl Scout cookies
Yeah.
and mixing it into there. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be seasonal.
It's seasonal, sure.
But I mean,
Sure.
even if it's not, they need to really get on that.
I would recommend kids movies on Netflix. Recommend Zootopia.
Zootopia is really good.
It's really good. It's
Yeah.
really good.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Don't recommend Boss Baby. Not so great.
Lucy and I watched it
What'd you
briefly the other
think?
night.
Not as great as Zootopia.
No. Oh, no.
Yeah.
But it was better than I expected it
Love
to be.
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, I thought Alec
Love
Baldwin was
Alec Baldwin.
hilarious.
But as far as like the plot and the story, it's just not as good. I don't know.
You know what I did though is I watched that movie, and at some point I was like, I get it. The kid's just imagining everything, and that was when I really started to enjoy it. Is like realizing that it's not a beat by beat story. It's a kid who, as he said, when my parents aren't saving me, I'm saving my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me was like, as soon as everything started to connect is when I really started to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's not the best kids movie in the world.
Yeah.
But I do kind of look forward to showing my kids that movie
Sure.
when the time comes.
Sure.
I will show them Toy Story first.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But it'll.
I think it was more, I don't know how to say it, cartoonish, but in the fact like.
But that's the product of the fact that it was imagination.
Well, sure, but
child.
the big well, that's completely correct. But like the big nanny, the big dude who posed as the nanny.
Oh, what was his name? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I just watched that movie.
Yeah,
too.
but how he was just, I don't know. I think it was the animation style where movements were so quick.
I get what you're
Like
saying.
he was on that thing that he made a makeshift skateboard and he was doing all the tricks.
Again,
and
all
everything was
product of the
perfect
kid's
and it was just zip,
imagination.
zip, 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 zip. Yeah, but that just didn't land
here's
for
the
me
thing. Think about
as
how
much.
think about how when you were a kid and you're either playing with friends or you're playing with your toys or whatever, and how quickly your mind works.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, what if He-Man met Captain America? And and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
there's this big crossover, and that's what made it for me, is that I took myself out of movie critic mode and went into, this is totally me as a kid.
Right.
Mode. And like I get everything, not everything, but I get what he's feeling and thinking.
Sure. I think
through
it
all
I think
that.
it worked for a kid level, but like the adult watching a kids movie thing, it didn't work as well as like Zootopia or Lego Movie, which is the best movie ever.
I love Lego Movie. Have you seen Lego Batman yet?
Yeah,
I've not seen it yet.
I saw it in the theater.
I mean, everything's
Yeah.
everything's practically been spoiled for me
Oh,
for it. But,
yeah. I mean, Will Arnett. You gotta love Will Arnett.
Are you an Arrested Development fan?
Yes.
Okay, good.
There's
Thank you.
always money in the
Thank
banana
you.
stand. Yeah.
I've been making the you gotta ask the guy in the $8,500 suit to do the "Go on" joke like so many times recently. But anyway, I
so
love
brilliant.
that show.
So brilliant.
I think I'm about to start watching it.
I should do that too.
See, that's the problem. Is I go, I could watch something new, or I could watch Arrested Development over again, or The Office,
just so.
Or It's Always Sunny, or How I Met Your Mother. I know you don't like How I Met Your Mother. Oh, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I found. I know your answer is probably going to be no. I found Big Bang Theory Russian nesting dolls the other day. Do you want them?
What? What characters are they?
The big one's Sheldon.
Okay.
And then the next one's Leonard, and that's as far as I got.
Well, I do love Russian nesting dolls.
Do you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll go back tomorrow and pick it up for you.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like $7 at the Richmond Peddlers Mall.
Crazy. I would
I was like,
put
is Chad gonna like this?
Put those next to bourbon and put it on Instagram. Next to like a 175, a liter, a 750,
That's a great idea.
200.
Oh, the Russian nesting dolls of bourbon.
Right? Come on, man. Everything ties together to bourbon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This episode's going to be a lot of fun for me to edit. I'm just
There you
going to say that right now.
There you go.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We're going to wrap things up real quick. Chad, if people want to find you on social media, where can they do that?
First and foremost, youtube.com/It's Bourbonite.
Amen.
Instagram and Twitter, it's Bourbonite. Facebook, it's Bourbonite. Everything is Bourbonite, really.
It is really late. Have you checked the time at all?
Nah, I'm afraid to.
You should be.
Oh, God.
We both have work tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you want to reach the show, we are at My Bourbon Shop on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to send us an email, we are thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. We're also This Is My Bourbon Shop on Facebook. You can use the hashtag This Is My Bourbon Podcast on Instagram or Twitter if you would like to send us questions, comments, feedback, whatever. Also, please leave us a 5-star rate and review on iTunes. Counteract those one. We do have a 1-star review now.
Oh, gross.
With no feedback.
That's the worst.
Just the star.
That's
really aggravating. And the 2-star review as well. I'm at PRitter1492 on pretty much every social media platform. If you want to become a patron of the show, head to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you can support the show and keep us going, because that's what we want to do. Isn't that what you want us to do, Chad?
Yes? Sorry, I didn't know that was directed toward me.
It wasn't originally, but I like where it went. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Next week,
will be a show.
I don't know. It will be a show. It will be another episode. I think I'm going to have Curtis and Tanner back on. What we're going to talk about? Anybody's guess.
Bourbon, probably.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
But until then, Chad, thank you so much for being on.
My pleasure.
Of course.
Yes.
We will see you next week. But until then, I'm Perry, and this is My Bourbon Podcast.